A pro tip, if I'm wearing the same Hawaiian shirt as my previous video, then they were probably recorded within 5 minutes of each other. Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a great day, and in today's video, I want to take a quick minute and have a little bit of a story time with you because I recall just a bit ago, I feel like it was last week or the week before, I was giving you guys 5 examples of mistakes I made throughout the years that I deeply regret, and in that video I hinted at there being a big mistake that I regret more than in most of those on the list. It was a big mistake, something that I kicked myself over. I just did not think about it as I was writing the list. For whatever reason, it had to pass my mind. So I figured in today's video, while I have just a few more minutes before I have to go do something else, I would take the time to share a little story with all of you. You guys like stories, right? You guys like hearing about other people's failures, right? Let's dive in. About a decade ago now. It's crazy to say. About a decade ago, as I was finishing up my first run at attempting to be a business owner, embarrassing moment of my life, all things considered, a friend of mine who also owned a trading card store at the time, although his was more of a generalized hobby store now that I really think about it. He was looking to offload some inventory, okay? And at this time I had just closed up shop not too long ago. I was drowning in debt because I was an idiot. And while I was looking to buy cool things, what he approached me with gave me pause. You see, he owned Duel Terminals. And for those of you who don't know, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Terminal was an arcade machine, an arcade cabinet, a specialized one. It was a touchscreen arcade cabinet that served 2 purposes. One, it let you play speed duels before they were speed duels against various Yu-Gi-Oh! Characters from throughout the 4 anime series that were out at the time: Yu-Gi-Oh!, GX, 5Ds, and Zexal. And the second purpose it served was it distributed Duel Terminal promotional cards. You would play the Duel Terminal for $1. It would pop out a little card. And the cool thing about these was that you could scan these cards. That's right. Just like in the anime, you could use these Duel Terminal cards because they had a special foil on them and scan them into the game itself. That's really cool. And I always thought the Duel Terminals were a really cool product and one of the best things Konami has ever produced for Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, at the time, he was trying to offload 2 of them. He owned 4, and he only ever really used 2 at his store. So he was trying to get rid of 2 of them for a modest price. He approached me with a price tag, and get this, he wanted to sell them for $400 each. That's crazy. What's crazier is I said no. Here's the thing, okay? I liked Duel Terminals even back then, and it wasn't just the Duel Terminals. It was the Duel Terminals and a brick each of the most recent Duel Terminals set, which I don't recall which one it was, but that's a full brick of Duel Terminal cards. That's probably worth something. I said no. I did not want them, and I basically said, hey, thank you for the offer, but I'm not buying these right now. And so here's the thing. At the time, I lived in a very small 1-bedroom apartment. It was large enough that I could have fit both of these Duel Terminals into the apartment, but small enough that they would have taken up a significant portion of my living space. I had, at the time, no plans to dive back into the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Collecting. I had no plans to pursue trading card collecting beyond a handful of cards that held my interest. In fact, I was not the guy you see here now. I was not a several thousand bulk card buyer, seller extraordinaire who keyed himself into the various card games of the past. I was just a guy who had recently done a failure of a business and was not looking to make any kind of more business purchases. So my thought at the time was, it's cool, it's affordable, but it's not for me. $800, I said no. Damn near the next week, I regretted that decision. But let me tell you, the Duel Terminals, I will, regardless of what they're priced at now, and don't get me wrong, I have looked in recent years to try to find one. A Duel Terminal is on my bucket list of items. I would actually like to own one for the garage, because that'd be a cool item to have. But here's the thing, beyond it just being a really cool piece of Yu-Gi-Oh history and a really cool display item, a cool thing to play on, because it is a game. It is a game you can play. That was an opportunity. That was a really good opportunity, because with a Duel Terminal, you've got a nice little arcade machine that, sure, it's not the most profitable way to get people through the door, but it would be something really unique. If there was ever a chance in the future of me opening up another physical location, a Duel Terminal right on the inside of the door would be an excellent way to get people talking, like, yo, this guy got a Duel Terminal. Obviously, I wasn't thinking about that back then. But now it's one of the things that I beat myself up over, because under $1,000 could have had two of the damn things. And I said no, and it's something I've deeply regretted ever since. And of course, like, he went and sold it to another guy for like way more not too long after, and I was like, oh no. Now I'm like, I don't know. Back then I didn't care, but in the years since, I've like regretted that decision more and more, because it's like the big thing that really gets me. It's like, Duel Terminals are really cool. And if you haven't, if you've never experienced these, because these stopped being a thing, like 10 years ago, if you haven't experienced it, I really recommend you go look up a video of it or something, because these are really cool things. And I wish Konami would do something like those again, send them out again. I'd like to buy one. But yeah, that's of the mistakes I've made in the past, the one that really eats me up is the Duel Terminal decision. And it's one that I've deeply regretted ever since. And if I could go back in time and like one financial decision, it wouldn't be Bitcoin, it wouldn't be going into business in the first place. No, it would be buying two Duel Terminals for $800. It seems like a silly thing, but it really is something that I feel really sorely about, all things considered. And it seems like there's only a handful of opportunities that come to you in life that you can safely say no to and regret, and it's just a mild regret. No, this is something that even now I kind of feel like really stupid for saying no to, even though I know deep down it's not that big of a loss. That's not a crazy super rare, mega rare card that I could end up selling for thousands of dollars later on. It's just a nice machine that I would have wanted to have for myself at some point. But still, knowing what could have been, and that's the thing, knowing what could have been, that's what gets you at the end. Because you beat yourself up over it, and you spend so much time telling yourself that you made a stupid decision. That's kind of what happened. So I suppose, in a way, just letting you guys know, hey, this was a stupid thing that I did forever ago that I wasn't stupid in the moment, but I regretted it later. Then I felt a bit of catharsis, so I'm glad that you guys let me share these kind of embarrassing stories with you, because, hey, getting this stuff off my chest does, at the end of the day, help me feel better. And I suppose it lets you guys know what my mindset was 10 years ago. And the kind of things that I regret, because this is again, it feels like such a silly thing to regret, because I talked about how cool they are, but Duel Terminals are loud, clunky, obnoxious. They have a lot of repairs. They ran on like Windows 98 or something. They weren't all positives, and if I had bought it, I would have regretted it regardless. Lose-lose situation here, right? But yeah, it's a silly thing, but it's a story that I felt like sharing with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and do you guys have any purchases or non-purchases that you regret? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.